Welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
Happy New Year. It's gonna be a great year. For tip of the day, there we are, Mark.
Y'all pray with me. Heavenly Father, make us instruments of your peace. Where there is hatred, let us sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. Grant that we may not seek so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen. That is a prayer from St. Francis of Assisi that I thought was very Rotarian.
Yes.
So if you will now, please, I mean, okay. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do as Rotarians. First,
Is it the truth?
second,
Is it fair all concern?
third,
Will it be connections?
and fourth,
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
and finally.
Is it fun? All right. As you sit down, don't forget the cart buckets, $25 goal. We're doing really well towards the goal. Okay, guest and raffle. Frederick.
Got me right here. We're gonna have our gift today. Yeah. All right, the winning raffle ticket ending in 396. Ending in 396, 4396. We got
Eric's looking sharp today, y'all.
You confirm you took it here. There you go. That's it. That's it. All right, phase two. Queen of Hearts. Queen of Diamonds. For the record, gotta buy more tickets.
All right. And do you want to enter? Do we got guests?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I got Seth Davis here. He's our new vice president. Seth Davis. Seth Walker. Seth Davis on the line. He's our new vice president for issues of advancement. I'm gonna let him tell you about himself real quick. Where he's from. He's also a practicing Rotarian. So Seth, tell me about yourself.
As we said, I'm the new vice president for advancement for college first. But I am a Rotarian and from Edwardsville, Illinois, where I most recently was Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. So I'm much happier to be somewhere where the sun shines in January.
Oh, yeah. All right. Any more guests? No, we're good. Okay. Prayer requests. Do we have any prayer requests?
Aaron, can we ask everyone if they can say thoughts from her mother? She's going through some health problems and their family's so concerned about her.
Okay. So pray for Lily's mother and her family. Anybody else?
Randy Stewart's doing better. He had congestive heart failure and pneumonia, but he is improving.
Good. Awesome.
Nolan Stevens is doing better. He had heart surgery.
Okay.
Back in the office.
Oh, good.
So-
Good. Hopefully he'll take it slow and not overdo it. All right, community announcements. Do we have any community announcements? Kind of quiet right now. We were having a bunch of community announcements and then here comes January. All right, no community announcements? Okay, good. All right, so we're gonna move on to club business and we have several things to go over here. But we are gonna start with Wendell and Happy Dollars.
All right. Every time you do,
We'll give him 2 seconds.
Rain delay before I get up there.
Little rain delay, so we'll give him 2 seconds to chew. Get your money out. I've got a good happy dollars today.
All right. Man, I appreciate everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Where's my little thing out there? Got one? Where's the little bucket at?
Okay, there's Bucket.
I've lost my bucket here. Thank you. All right. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We got so many things to be thankful for. And we live in a great place. By the way, Seth is from Statesboro, not Statesboro, Savannah originally. He comes back home. He was doing Southern for a while, all that, but he come back home. So we're glad to have him. We're gonna keep him for a long time. He's doing a great job for us already. He's gonna be a perfect fit for us. We live in a great place, and we got so many things that are happening good in our county, and I just love this time to always talk about it. My happy dollars today, or we'll start with Jeff, who's already so relaxed over here. I can't stand it. All right, the guy's relaxed. He's retired. And he's doing great. And then also, both of you, my GMT brethren here, Nelson. Sorry, I'm getting old. Nelson, I just saw Nelson. He always pops me up, and I said, "Man, how you doing?" He said, "Today's the first of the best day of the rest of my life." And I said, "That's awesome, man." So we're so blessed. I appreciate that, Nelson. You always fire me up, and I'm gonna turn it over to Jeff right here to go. I got a 20 spot today, by the way. That's all I had. I was paying for lunch, $20. So I had to pay it to get it later. All right, good. Yes, it's right.
It is my third day of retirement.
Come over here.
But no,
Hey, sorry, Eric.
sorry, I'm up here.
Yes.
So next week I won't be here, but I'm gonna be at my mom's birthday. She is turning 80.
Yes, man. Where'd she live, Eric?
She lives down in Jupiter, Florida.
Okay, all right, good. How's Carla doing?
Carla is doing great. For those who care, she actually flew on an airplane yesterday.
Yes.
Nice.
First time
Yes.
she's gotten sick.
Oh, yes, fantastic, good. All right, Nelson.
All right, just keep it fired up.
Yes.
Nelson Craft, GMC.
Oh, it's fine. I got it.
It's all right. Kind of going along with Mark's prayer, what you're saying. I mean, we are so blessed in this community
Yes,
to just what we have in this community. There's so much positive
yes.
with everything. If you turn on the news every night, you get nothing but negative. Turn on social media, negative. I mean, we just have so much to be blessed for. So that's just a highlight of what we have to be blessed for, and just wishing a great new year.
Appreciate it. More than 24 is what I'm talking about. I tell you this, I turned on, I got YouTube TV and I turned it on, I turned it off, and then I said, well, I'm just for football season, I like to have it in the background, we'll turn it on. Well, the problem there is I am like looking at a train wreck. I got to somehow go to MSNBC, CNN, and Fox every day to get a little negativity, and it's driving me crazy. So I'm gonna cut that thing off again. I can't stand it. And so I just watch a financial show now where there's no politics on it, right? No politics. But that's the most negative stuff in the world, man. It's like I can't stop myself. But I gotta stop. Anyway, who we got? Who's that? Mark.
We'll turn this around a little bit.
I like it.
I'm gonna pay $1. What will tell us who tied he's tied today.
I did. Thank you.
All right. Bill Jones, citizen 97.
Small business of the year, wasn't it? All right.
State University.
Yes. See how it felt. That's right. Yes, sir.
Anyway, just found out for Christmas present that my youngest son and his wife are expecting, so that will be my second day.
Yes. Where'd you graduate from?
Well, I got a master's.
There you go. That's all I care about. Stephanie, where'd you graduate from? Thank you. Okay. All right, who's that? Who's that? Oh, come on, man, we got more good news than that. All right, what we got? Anybody?
I got 20 miles.
Hey,
Truck with me. much mental health is impacting our society more so today than ever before. We have actually 580 people on the waiting list. Wow. To get into a psychiatric hospital for evaluation, restoration, and that list is growing. Almost 20 every 2 weeks, about 20 people, bodies that need to get into the hospitals. We just started a new project last year where we're going to be implementing some restoration units across Georgia, and I've been added to that project team. With the first location being in Dodge County, Georgia. So that is something that we're working on now, and hopefully we can get the people that are in our communities with us in the right type of facility. Because believe it or not, there's people that are in jail that really need some psychiatric services. So that's the goal. That's what I'm happy about today.
You know, speaking of mental health, you know, we talked last week when Eric, when they called for Christmas. Remember how positive that was, and she got them calls and all that, man. If you would take some time to call somebody, they appreciate it. And always say, if you call one of your old teachers and tell them how much they meant to you, your old coach or your old boss, what, it'll make their day. So just think about doing that. All right. Who else we got?
I'll wrap this up.
All right.
All right, so I got a 20 here.
You telling me to sit down? Is that what you telling me?
Running out of time. I got a 20. I'm glad to see Jimmy Eubanks back here today.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Joy has a new grandbaby.
Yes.
And I have a new venture that I may have told you about, maybe not, but I am headed to Orlando on Saturday to attend the Rotary International Assembly, where I will launch a new line of Rotary licensed merchandise. So we'll pray for big sales at this event.
Fantastic. That's really appreciate everybody being here today. Make sure you introduce yourself to Seth on the way out today. Thank y'all. All right.
All right. Thank you, Wendell. It's always good to have happy dollars. All right. Switching a little bit, raffle tickets. We have a few raffle tickets left. Tamara, you'll help me out here. How many raffle tickets do we have?
We've got 36.
36. So I need everybody to come together and let's figure out how to get rid of these 36 right now. I will take 10. 46. Okay, you can give me 10. I'll be responsible for 10. Who else is gonna help us out with raffle tickets?
I'll take 5.
Okay, that's 15.
Here we go.
Wendell, that's 17. All right, help us out here. We gotta get these tickets sold. I mean, 2 for help me. Herschel. I'm bad with names, so I'm like, that's my worst ever. All right, so what is that? 19? So somebody who's good at math, help me out here. Keep a tally. How many more do we need to get rid of? If you can take 1, if you can call 2 people, 2 to Frederick. How many was that one? 2 back here. Jay Blucher.
I mean, I'm not taking 23, I'm just saying that's your number.
I'm at 23. Kristen will take Kristen will take 23. All right, we got 23. We've had some people step up and take some big ones. Okay, come on, y'all. 23. Anybody?
I'll do another.
Who was that? Mark will do 1, so it's 22.
I'll just buy
2 more. Thank you, Bill. So that's 20. Okay, we're down to 19, y'all. 19 tickets.
Oh, y'all buy one.
Okay, 1 more right here. 2 more for Greg Tyson. So that 16 tickets. 16. Help me out, Bobby.
Keep going here.
16.
Stay quiet. So I'm scared.
All right. Thank you, Wendell. 16.
Stay quiet. I'm not gonna come.
Surely somebody keep our out at home today. 6.
I mean, I did this morning, and I sold 5 this morning. That's what I'm taking 5 already. I went to my phone this morning and just went through my call list, and I text 5 people that I hadn't contacted, and I text 10 people that hadn't contacted or whatever. I sold 5 of them this morning too. I mean, I don't want to take away the program today, but you sit here and look at your phone right quick and just see somebody text right quick and see if they want a ticket. maybe about the way, some people don't know unless you ask, and I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask. You can roll through that right quick and just kind of pick up one or two. We just need to get these last few sold. We don't need to be like Alabama and come up short at the last.
All right, that brings, where are we at, Kristen? What is that, 14? 14.
They went from the other direction, I gave you the 23 numbers.
Okay. All right, so let's say, I think we're about 14. Can anybody squeeze one more ticket or sell one more ticket to a friend, a colleague, a relative, somebody at Walmart? Okay, one more to Stephanie, one more to help me out back here. I tell you, I got too much on my brain to remember names. I'm terrible today at these names, y'all.
William,
Who? William.
Not here.
William Black will take one. Two for Jennifer.
And he's right, I literally just texted somebody.
Yes, and that's why I took 10, because I know I can find somebody about 10, but anybody else? Okay, that's less than a dozen left. Okay, how many? Two. And so 4 back. How many do you want, Fina? 2. So 4 back here, and that's what, 5 or 6 left. So, all right, so that's 5 or 6 left. So I'm gonna move on. I'll ask again at the end of the thing. So if you take somebody and you sell one but we will get these all sold because tomorrow is the first drawing. Thank y'all very much.
Hey, Aaron.
Yeah.
He's asking me, what's our Venmo?
We don't have Venmo. We got Square. I'll send you a text. You can send him.
Thank you.
Okay. And if anybody else needs that text too, I can send it to you. It's a great, it makes it easy. So Keith Barlow shared it with me. Okay, next, because I'm running out of time. White saplings. We have 60-ish white saplings over here. This is Felix Smith. This is his goal, is to get a tree planted in the district for every Rotary member. So if you would like to grab a tree and plant it for your business. If you know an organization that would like to plant a few trees, we have 60 that I would love for y'all to take with you today. And when you plant it, take pictures and text me, Frederick, or Michelle pictures. White oak saplings. Yeah, so it doesn't look like 60, but it's about 60 trees. So we will take some trees with you today. And last order of business, and then we'll get to our program. We have a new member induction today. So Jimmy, you want to come up front with Joey Waddell? And Kristen, you got our pen? So Joey attended one of our fellowship meetings at the airport, and Jimmy invited him, and Joey has decided to join and wanted to wait till Jimmy was back so he could pin him. Kristen's bringing the pen over to you. So I'll start reading the induction. Joey Waddell, you have been chosen to the membership in the Rotary Club of Milledgeville because your fellow members believe you to be a leader in your vocation, and because you manifest those qualities of head and heart which fit you to interpret and impart the message of Rotary to those with whom you come in contact. You are representative of your vocation in this club, and any contribution of any educational value pertaining to that vocation must naturally come to us through you. On the other hand, you become the ambassador from us to your vocation, and it becomes your duty to carry the ideals and principles of service to your work. We also expect much from you in help and inspiration, which will enable us to better Rotarians. And with this hope, we most heartily offer you the Rotary Fellowship. Joey, I wish to impress upon you that you have been admitted not only to the Rotary Club of Milledgeville, but to a worldwide association, and by virtue of your membership in this club, you will be welcomed into the fellowship of any Rotary Club in the world. The honor and privilege of Rotary membership carries with it duties and obligations. You'll be expected to attend the club meetings regularly, to perform your share of club service, and to place your knowledge and talents at the disposal of your club in its task of carrying the principles of Rotary into the daily life of the community. The community will know and judge Rotary through your embodiment of its character and service, and we accept you as a member because we believe our principles and organization is safe in your keeping. I ask all members to rise. Joey, it is my distinct pleasure in the name of the Rotary Club of Milledgeville, I now formally admit you to the membership of this club and ask that your sponsor affix to your label our emblem. Fellow Rotarians, I commend you to our newest member, Rotarian Joey Waddell, who has been loaned to this club of member, and request all of you to welcome him or her. All right, and now let's get to our program. Laura?
Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you. I have been kind of attached to this group called Keep Milledgeville Bold and Beautiful for going on 10 years now. 10 years ago, we revamped it and started, got a board, took the training, and got a good group together. We spun our wheels for a few years. Then COVID hit, and I kept it alive tax-wise for our 501c3, and until last year when there was some momentum in the community, and we are back together. We got a new band back together, so to speak, with some good new blood. And here today to talk more about that is Dr. Jeffrey Wells. You want to go ahead and get that started? Proud to know him. He is a much better speaker than I am. And he is our new executive director. So he's going to tell you more about the program and what we're up to these days.
Oh, you're mad.
I know, right? Want to share the slides?
No, how's
Dr.
it?
Wells, GMC. You're in it's for the online education program, correct?
You're close.
The bio.
Yeah, for a moment there, it almost seemed as if I just wandered into KMBB one day, right? It's no name. That's all right. That's okay. Thank you. Appreciate your help there very much. So yeah, I'm Dr. Jeff Wells, but I absolutely detest being called doctor. Just call me Jeff, to be honest with you. Like Sean Hayes on Will and Grace says, just Jack, I'm just Jeff. The doctor just means I had more patients and lots of student debt. It's okay. So I am the new board chair for Keep Milledgeville Baldwin Beautiful, and that is one of the things that I do that I really find to be the most one of the most important, and also one of the deepest, or I would say meaningful things for the community. Someone asked me the other day if KMBB, did they feel like KMBB was going to survive this time? And Laura knows what I mean when we say that. And the person who asked that simply clarified and said, we've seen it come and go before. And if there's ever a need for something in the community such as this, it is now. And I agree. I said, no, I believe that we have some staying power this time, because there is a revitalization in the community of an impetus to try to do what we can to make sure that the community is safe, clean, and we're all healthy. I think probably everybody has ridden through Baldwin County and at least once or twice said, wow, that's a mess that needs to be cleaned up.
I know that the county manager, Carlos Tobar, has talked a great deal about blight in the community. There are those CHIP grants and a number of other grants. Leadership Baldwin did the county, I believe, the county and city government. Kristen, I believe that's what we did recently. And Carlos was such an intriguing speaker. Kristen was there as a cheerleader and actually had a standing ovation going on for him for all the grant money we get. So I leaned over and I asked her, I said, are you running for county commission in the next cycle? And she says, no, I'm just very happy about this. So and you know, her being in real estate, it does have a great impact. What we're doing is definitely going to be impactful, not only to that industry, but to the tourism industry, Jamie, for Rebecca. And she and I've even talked about how impacting this is for those particular sectors in our local economy and also our local government. And I'm going to elaborate on that in just a minute. So first and foremost, who are we? Did I get that right? It's moving for me, Eric, but it's not moving for you. I'm, you know, and I'm an online educator. You think I could figure this out? Did that work? Okay. Tell me what you did that I did wrong.
Okay.
Okay, good. All right. So who are we? So first and foremost, we are an affiliate, a local affiliate for Keep Georgia Beautiful. Laura and I tell everyone we're affiliated with the KGB. Yes. And most people kind of look at us, and we are affiliated with the KGB. It's just probably not the one that you're thinking of. So Keep Georgia Beautiful is actually an affiliate, a state affiliate of Keep America Beautiful. And all three of these organizations basically have the same focus, which is to make our communities and keep them clean, green, and beautiful. So here are the logos of each one of those. And Laura, I believe, designed the one for KMDB recently. Laura has a lot of energy. She said up here just not long ago that she kind of kept it alive as far as taxes and in name only. Well, that's not really true, because not only did she do that, she also kept that momentum and that need for this organization secure in her mind and in her heart. And when she came back and basically restructured this thing and revitalized this board, she reached out to individuals that she knew would keep it going. So honestly, I think you did a lot more than you give yourself credit for. And I think people in the community will get to know that once this thing is bigger and bolder than it's ever been. So we just recently had a couple of things where we revamped our bylaws and we rewrote our mission statement. And just like when you go through and try to rewrite your mission statements or any kind of goals and initiatives, there's always a little bit of back and forth. And this is the one that I believe emerged successfully out of that meeting. So we seek to build and sustain motivation in the Milledgeville and Baldwin County community to protect our environment, prevent blight, improve public lands, and contribute to a safe and healthy place to live and visit. And I had someone ask me about this when I shared this with them, to an outside person, just to look at that and say, is this a clean, very focused, simple mission statement where people would read it and understand what this organization is all about? And this lady said, absolutely. She says, but I want to know about this on public land. She said, because there's a lot of private land that is, for lack of a better word, trashy. And I said, well, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot that we can do about private lands other than encourage and motivate. And I said, that's why that word motivation is in there. And that's why I'm here to speak to you all today, because the county and city do not own most of the land in this community. It's businesses and individuals. And unfortunately, you will see statistics here in just a moment. Yes, the county and city do own right-of-ways, but all of those right-of-ways tend to be attached to either mostly private land. And I know that you all, I know our good friend here said it from Savannah, I believe. So you are a Southerner. Anyone who's not a Southerner probably would not know this, but if you start wandering on a Southerner's private land, we will introduce you to the Second Amendment very quickly. And so I had to explain to her there's a way to do this without encroaching on anyone's, basically their civil liberties. And so we went through that, but it's a very good point. And it's something that I believe KMDB, KGB, and KAB have to focus on as we move forward. So who leads this island of misfit toys, as I like to call it? Well, number one, I am the board chair. I'm either going to be the captain on the Titanic or Noah on the Ark. I'm hoping it's the Ark here. But you see the leadership behind me, especially in the way of Laura, who keeps our money straight and keeps me straight as vice chair. Jennifer Minshew there, Bill. I call her the shoe. She is our secretary and probably one of the biggest motivators we have. She's always excited about what we do and what we could do. Miss Christina Mansfield from Central State Hospital and Dr. Brandy Kennedy from Georgia College and State University there, Wendell, who is the head of our graduate program or their graduate program. I had my master's from there, so I can say Iowa, right? I'm a graduate, yes. So she is head of the graduate program in public administration, which I have seen in so many instances ranked very highly across the nation. As a matter of fact, my boss and my boss's wife, Jen Yearwood, who works with you guys, took her graduate degree in PA, the MPA. So she's familiar with Dr. Kennedy. Miss Ashley Copeland from GCSU, who's involved in a lot of the community and student activities and has been a vocal supporter of ours and has gotten GCSU on board with the GCSU Gives Day, Georgia College Gives, with the fraternities and the sororities. Laura and I were talking and we were joking that, the fraternities and sororities probably are an untapped resource. Not that GC has not done a great job with that so far, but in the community outside of GC, that the fraternities and sororities and a lot of those organizations on that campus are an untapped resource for this community. A lot of those young people, what we don't realize, a lot of those young people in fraternities and sororities are required to do a certain amount of community service hours, and they can do those outside of that campus. And so I was kind of pouring back through KMBB social media about several months ago, and I noticed where Tom Drew went over there and just recruited him a group of fraternity brothers, and they went out and cleaned up that whole road out in the county. And I told Laura, I said, how did you manage that? And I think it was a lot of pizza and beer. I don't know, but it was all him, all Tom. Yeah. So I was thinking to myself, well, I don't know that we can spend money on beer, but I'm sure we can get a donor if we can, we can get fraternities out there and sororities to help us. We can actually tap into those community service hours. And also that builds leadership in those students. And I know that Georgia College focuses on that too. Lori Hamilton, who's a sustainability officer at GC, and then our own chamber president, Ms. Kara Lassiter, who is the ex officio member. On July 1st of this year, we will add 6 new members for a 13-member board, because in the bylaws with KGB and KMBB and all their affiliates, their boards are 13 members strong. So we will follow suit. So let's talk a little bit about a recent litter study that Keep America Beautiful did. Now, I want to say that this was the last time they did this study since 2009. So this is actually a 12-year study. And if you'll notice, it took place right in the middle of the pandemic, because I think they defined the pandemic as 2021 and 22. By 23, it kind of subsided for the most part, but those 3 years are considered the pandemic years. So right in the midst of the pandemic, they did this huge, humongous survey. And they found a few things that I think is important for us here to understand. First of all, they found that there were 50 billion pieces of litter along U.S. roadways. And interestingly enough, waterways. Look at the numbers for those two. There's more trash that's thrown along waterways than there are roadways. And that's important for us here in Baldwin County, because we have the Oconee River, and we also are at the southern shores of Lake Sinclair. And so we kind of have to think along those lines when we talk about initiatives and goals in KMBB. Interestingly enough, on Earth Day, I think it was Lake Sinclair Marina. Lake Sinclair Marina sponsored a huge cleanup out on the shores of Lake Sinclair. And I don't remember specifically all of the outcomes, but I do remember this, that they collected as much or more trash than was collected out at the Central State Hospital cleanup. Now, think about that for just a moment, okay? I'll quote Kenny Loggins from the 80s. Make no mistake where you are. Okay, remember that song? Make no mistake where you are. Litter does not move specifically along socioeconomic lines, okay? Now, we do know that litter does breed crime and blight. That is a fact. But one thing that a lot of people don't understand is that it does not just simply move along socioeconomic lines. And another thing it does not move along are the generations. We all litter equally. And so when Laura, I don't remember who it was that told us that, but we were looking at the bags of trash, and I thought, dear God in heaven above, my mind had to adjust. I had to do a paradigm shift for a moment. you think, okay, Lake Sinclair, the property values are pretty high. The people that usually purchase those are socioeconomically advanced, advanced degrees. They probably all went to Georgia College. I don't know. So I thought to myself, Wendell's got to get out there and do a little bit better with this. But it shocked me. Well, what we didn't really think about is, no, it's not necessarily the residents out there littering, it's the tourists. A lot of times it's tourists and people, the fishermen, and we love those people. They drop tax dollars or they drop dollars into this community, but a lot of times they leave their litter behind. And so this taught us a valuable lesson. We also have to be very careful with our waterways too. Also, as I read in depth in the survey, it's not necessarily that the litter was deposited on the banks of those waterways. Where do you think it was deposited? In the water and floated to the banks, okay? And there she stayed. So we have to be careful with that as well. 152 items per each U.S. resident. Okay, so when you look at the 50 billion pieces of trash and you divide that out by the number of residents in the United States, in 2021, you get about 152 items. And folks, that's about 4 or 5 weeks worth of your household trash. Okay, maybe less. More than 2,000 pieces of litter per mile. 90% of all Americans surveyed believe that litter is a problem in their state. And in some states, it's broken down by states. In some states, it's way higher than 90%. What region of the country's residents, take a good guess, identified litter that 90% was higher? It's higher than that 90% nationwide, that identified in this region of the country that litter is a greater problem than in some of the rest of the nation.
Southeast.
Yes, in the southeastern United States. Now, all right, Coach, tell me why you think, every time I look at Wendell, I think of Gene Stallings. Anyway, tell me, Coach, why do you think the South, and that's true, litter is worse in the South than it is on average than it is anywhere in the country. Why?
I don't. Rule. That's education.
You're that's education. That's Wendell's problem again.
That's right.
And Nelson. Bill, you're not wrong. That's one of them. There's 2 other factors factored into that. Number 1 was roadways and dirt roadways. I did it. I'm from Montgomery County. I call her Wheeler County. We grew up across the Oconee River from one another and had no clue we even each other existed. So I call her Wheeler County. Laura will tell you down in South Georgia, honestly, if it weren't for US 221, US 280, we'd be dead. Okay. People, and I've done it, she's done it a lot. Down in Southeast Georgia, we country folk ride along the roadway, and it's so easy to roll down the window and toss it out. Because it's a dirt road, and who's going to see it? There's part of it, so you're right. What's the second part of that? This is actually the biggest. Population growth. Have you noticed how big the South is getting lately? You know that Georgia is now the Ohio of the South. You know what that means, right? We are the fastest growing southern state in when you look at certain demographic groups in certain sectors. Georgia is now, I think, we were 9. We passed Virginia and North Carolina. I think we're 9 now, on the verge of overtaking another state. And you notice now we have all these electoral votes, and every presidential candidate in the country comes. Yeah. That may also account for more trash. I didn't say that. Sorry. All right. So 90% believe that litter is a problem. Now, folks, when you get that 9 out of 10 people that you survey that tell you, yes, this is a problem, when you look at political surveys, social surveys, economic surveys, you do not get 90% or higher agreement. That's absolutely phenomenal. So that means we have to do something about it. 6 billion pieces of that trash were larger than 4 inches. So that's an unused cigarette. And interestingly enough, what does the PowerPoint say is the most littered item in the country? Cigarette butts. Now, I will say that since 2009 has come down by 70%. There's 2 reasons for that. Number 1, our younger generation has turned, instead of to cigarettes, they turned to vaping. And I will say this, I'm not going to comment on the health situation there, but vaping has at least decreased the amount of litter because cigarette butts are not as plentiful as they once were. Also, cancer rates have grown, and cigarettes have been intrinsically linked to that. So with the newer generation of kids coming through, the Gen Z and the millennials, they don't smoke cigarettes nearly as much as Generation X and the boomers did. So more common, the most common is the cigarette butt, but this is interesting too. 207.1 million pieces of litter were found to be PPEs, personal protective equipment, face masks. Remember when I told you this was conducted? It's getting better, but it's still an issue. And I forget my good friend Jeff over there, he might be retired, but his memory isn't. He rode the campus every day, and I've seen him picking up trash. And I used to tell him, get Nelson off the golf cart. That was a joke. That's a joke. That is a joke. No, Jeff would be trying to lean over and pick up something here and there. You know, one time I saw him in the flower bed and I thought, well, somebody beat Jeff up and tossed him in the flower bed. It was full of trash. Even on college campuses, young people a lot of times they'll leave trash and debris behind. And so it's everywhere. And GMC and GC does a great job of keeping their campuses clean, but it's a continual battle even in places like that. Emily Davis told me after a meeting we spoke at one time, she said one of the things that she and Carlos had talked a lot about was that some of our public buildings tend to collect debris and stuff like that, especially around the outer rims. And Link Boyer, I think, told me one time, he said, you would be shocked at people who litter around the police department. I said, well, if you'll do that, you'll do it anywhere. Things have gotten better since 2009, and some of this graphic will show you, but it still needs improvement. So how is KMBB going to target this? Quickly, number one, we'll have one major initiative per each season. Last spring, our Earth Day anti-litter campaign and cleanup, and we'll do that in a few months on April 20th through 27th. Earth Day is Monday, April 22nd. Fall or summer 2023, we did cleanups in several parks and locations in Milledgeville and Baldwin County. I believe Hewley Park was one of those. Went out to Cooper's. In November, we did a ribbon cutting in support of recycling efforts at GCSU and also a social media campaign of composting pumpkins. I started to call it the Smashing Pumpkins campaign. You know, I didn't want to get in trouble. I know what happened to the Polar Express and the Milledgeville trolley thing. We haven't determined anything yet for this season. We're still brainstorming, but do stay tuned. Promote and grow the Adopt a Road program. That's very much where Rotary can be part of the process. We did have a timeline this past summer. We enlisted the support of the Baldwin County Commissioners, and we are still working with the Milledgeville City Council. They're a little bit tougher nut to crack, but I'll tell you, the guy that has really been behind us is Carlos Tobar. I know politics is in everything, and I know right, wrong, or indifferent, people agree or disagree with Carlos on several things. He told us one time at a meeting, he says, okay, well, I got to leave now. I'm going to a meeting to be passed out. And I said, well, Carlos, we at least praise you here. You know, he's been really helpful to us because it's meaningful not only to him, but also to Miss Emily, the board chair. We established registration and guidelines for the program and are now in the process of recruiting participants. We have 2 or 3 already. One is Kay McGivney and Greg out at Reagan K. And then we'll launch in the winter and spring, mostly in the spring because we're not really interested in putting people out there in flu weather right now. So with that being said, the next set of goals would be to provide education and learning resources to our community. Working with K through 12, we're going to set up meetings with Dr. Price, Amy Lee at GMC, Clint Humphrey. Sorry, I had his son was Youth of the Year one year over there and I could remember his son's name, but I couldn't remember that last name. And look at how we can actually spread the word there. We are going to, and Lori Hamilton and Ashley Copeland and Brandy Kennedy are working with us to get this more and more into GCSU and on their agenda. And of course, I'm doing what I can at GMC. Speaking engagements like today, thank you very much. We've already spoken to Exchange and the commission meetings, and now we're going to try to hit up Kiwanis and some of the other civic groups. Impact, what is the impact of litter and blight on our community? Number one, environmental hazards. I don't think I have to explain that to anybody. Everybody understands that. Crime. intrinsically it is linked to crime. There are all kinds of studies, both academic and non-academic, where we can show you that criminal activity tends to actually grow in areas where there is litter and blight, because people kind of look at that and they think, well, this is an area that doesn't care. This is an area that I might be able to do what I need to do in. It's, I mean, you know, you think about it, when you look through it, it's almost like the broken shade thing. In real estate, Kristen, I think we've talked about that before. Lower property values. Kristen, we've talked about this. I don't think she wants to go sell a house, and when she walks up, she has to pick up 5 or 6 big pieces of trash in the driveway and along the roadways. That's going to make a potential buyer a little bit trepidatious. Less tourism and tourism tax revenue. Rebecca, I wish she were here. She would tell you, you can't market a trashy countryside. It's difficult. It really is. Malaise, disappointment, lack of interest in serving the community. Have you ever heard this? If no one else cares, why should I? Litter does that. Here are some photos I can share with you to round this out. These are some things that we did. This is over at the Cooper's Park back in the summer with, I believe, Ashley Copeland.
GC Gives Day.
Okay, GC Gives Days. This is Jennifer Minshew speaking at Lakeview Primary back in May. And of course, this is over at Central State Hospital with Christina Mansfield, far left on Earth Day. Other things we did, you see Kara and you see Ashley and Jennifer there, and that's at Hewley Park on Earth Day. And there's Laura and me with the Public Works Department cleaning up on Earth Day, South Jefferson around the Carricker and Swint Avenue. And then, of course, Miss Emily and Mr. Carlos made sure that they had a proclamation in place for that week, naming it basically KMDB and Earth Week in Baldwin County. We're going to do that again this year. Fantastic support from those commissioners. So, you know, what can Rotary do? Number one, open your podium to speakers like me and other people that are here to talk about conservationist efforts. I'd love to encourage Rotary to adopt a road. I think there are forms on each of your tables. Help share our posts on social media, attend an event, organize your own anti-litter campaign. Here's that private property thing. Clean up outside the roadways where you live. You know, we do that a little bit in Country Club Estate too. You'll see people riding on their golf carts up and down the streets, and you'll see them stop and pick up trash. You know, take a little pride, and you all are very prideful, very community-minded individuals, and you wouldn't be here today, but take that extra step to make sure that the community and the area where you are, your space should look clean. Participate in the cleanup project sponsored by KMBB and seek to provide education to the community along with us. Make it also part of the things you do, because it's about servant leadership, service, compassion, community, and transformation. It's about leaving this space better than you found it, caring about your neighborhoods and neighbors, and investing in our community. Primarily, just try not to be trashy. And we also want to thank our generous supporters who have financially and physically supported us. I think you heard just a few minutes ago, that board would be hollowed out. Ashley, Brandy, you know, they've been extremely helpful to us. So we really do appreciate that. And most of the, I think, board members on there graduates, so I know that Lori and Ashley and Brandy have told us that President Kathy Cox is very supportive of this. And I know General Caldwell at GMC, I've had personal conversations with him, who said he has told me on numbers of occasions, please let me know what resources I can throw at. Manpower, anything else that I can do. So we need to focus a good bit on the larger organizations getting on. So thank you all so much for letting me be here. Laura just slightly flat at me, which is a polite way to say, shut up. If any of you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be glad to answer them. You can email me at jwills@gmc.edu or Laura. And thank you for what Rotary does in the community. Thank you so much.
So, starting off this year with a new set of pens, so we'd like to present you with this Rotary pen.
Well, thank you so much. Exchange doesn't do this.
Oh.
We're going to step up our duties.
All right. So if you
Thank you, the TO explanation.
So if you agreed to take tickets, see Tamara. If you want to take oak saplings, come up here, and we'll give you some saplings to take out and plant in the community. And, just want to wish everybody a happy new year. Jennifer will hold down the fort next week while I'm in Orlando.